Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. You can find me on my social media at The Cryptid Huntress, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress. Also, visit my shop, War Woman Goods, on Etsy. Shout out to Bumblefoot for that really awesome song for my intro video there. And we have a legendary guest tonight, y'all. We have Connor Flynn of Bigfoot Anonymous. But first, I don't want you guys to forget that we have after hours tonight. After my show, they have a great show ready to go. So you guys be sure to tune in. Okay. So let's get to our guest tonight. Connor Flynn is a Sasquatch enthusiast, a cryptid and paranormal researcher, a historian, an explorer, a journalist, and an author of several paranormal books, and an actor in movies like The Void Cat and Zillafoot. He's forever on the quest to uncover the mysteries of the world. And let me tell you, I have interviewed Connor several times in the past, or a couple of times, maybe once, okay? And I'm going to bring up Connor tonight because we have so much more to talk about. Where we left off last time, we've talked cryptids, we've talked Bigfoot. Hey, Connor, what's up?
What's up? What's up? Like history repeats. So we met again, and it does feel like 2-3 times, but I feel like sometimes our late night conversations feel like a podcast. It's definitely podcast worthy. But yes, I am blessed to be here. Happy Mother's Day to you, Jess, and to everybody out there.
Thank you. And happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. And thank you all for tuning in tonight. Connor, I am so glad to see you. I mean, I see you all the time doing these amazing interviews and just showing the world your stomping grounds down in Florida. And it blows my mind, all of the adventures that you take, because you just live life to the fullest, right? I mean, you're always out exploring local legends and lore. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, because not only are you a Bigfoot enthusiast, but you're into things like the Mounds and the giants and the sea serpents down in Pensacola, right?
Yeah, Pensacola, and then Lake Powell in Panama City, and then Apalachicola River right by my house, and then that flows from Georgia and goes into the aquifer, and Pensacola was mentioned in Godzilla vs. Kong as the apex, and it's for a reason. So I'm just loving soaking it up, and I feel like I've been magnetized on this journey to exactly where I needed to be. I still remember when I took the exit to this house and being like, man, I'm in the middle of nowhere. And then a couple of weeks ago, Mark Muncy is saying Mariana is the real capital, the real haunted mecca of Florida. And I'm like, you know what? I was brought here for a reason. Right by where the Bigfoot was captured, right down the street from Donnie Miller and Stacy Brown. And then, it's just brought me to a bunch of witnesses that, uncover a bunch of truths and show me what I need to see in this lifetime.
Wow. Well, you have seen a lot in your lifetime. Okay. And I think the last time we talked, you talked about the Ocheesee Pond Man up in around Chattahoochee. And there's a really awesome, it's almost like the Bermuda Triangle down there of Florida, right? Because there's so much activity.
The Enchanted Forest. And
I know about that one.
There, like 8 years ago. And then I've spent some time there recently. And both of our situations and encounters and experiences have many correlations. So it's interesting that the creatures are either hanging around there or the land has something to it. And that's residual. That's eternal, of course.
Yeah, I think so. Now, and I mean, I just want to talk cryptids tonight because, I know that you have you ever seen the skunk ape before? Because I know you guys have skunk apes down there, and that's a really big, there's like a tourist attraction even down there. There's a skunk ape museum down in South Florida, right?
Yeah, down in the Everglades, Dave Shealy's skunk ape headquarters. And I've been there once with my dad, and it was a magical time. They have a live zoo, so they have huge snakes and alligators. And I remember speaking to the alligators in the video, and they came up right to me. It was truly magical. And I spoke to witnesses. I walked down the street where a skunk ape crossed over years ago. And then my dad and I went on an airboat tour, and then we took a boat out on another time through the mangroves, and I got to do calls from the water and leave gifts like tobacco and other, fun smokables out there. And it was so magical, just really soaking up the Calusa tribes, lore, because they have a statue of a half man, half cat. And that just lurks with, the dog man and these cat people and even the lion-headed people that we saw on hieroglyphics. So I think that America is a lot more sacred than they are painting for us. Like we were talking this morning, there are mounds that correlate with the stars. America had kings and queens. So I'm not worshiping no politicians anytime soon. I thrive and I'm inspired by my community, my friends, my family, not some placebo on the TV, because I'll tell you right now, the screen, it's fixed, it's programming. So authentic life
programming
is where it is. And I believe in Bigfoot and I believe in paranormal in real life, not just behind the screen. I'm out there loud and proud talking about it, and
me
just
too.
Today, I was on the trail. Yeah, that's why we are so kindred.
We're IRL, right?
IRL, while they are AFK, MIA, and trust me, I will whoop your butt on Call of Duty and Halo and on MySpace and on Facebook, but I'm real life with this first and foremost.
Man, I mean, there's not a whole lot of people that could handle going out in the woods and dealing with Bigfoot and skunk apes and lizard man and all this stuff that we experience. Aliens, interdimensionals. Okay, so you touched on two things just then that I'd like to start off with, and that's the mounds. And let's see. Well, let's just go with the mounds first, okay? Because I did a remote viewing target last Friday of the Dark Pyramid in Alaska, and I saw hieroglyphics all over this thing, okay? And this thing is ancient. It had hieroglyphics on it. It was made out of obsidian, okay? Parts of it. Now that's really old. Now you're seeing hieroglyphics on mounds down in Florida. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I've been inside of a mound in Kolomoki, right in between us in Georgia. You can go inside the burial mound, and it has sacred markings in it, and just the warm feeling that you get in your chest, it reminds you of when you're a kid, or maybe the life you've lived once before. But I don't know, it's something in your soul that just speaks to you. It's essence. And when you correlate it all, and you can line up and you can, breathe and start using different exercises to really enhance your mind. And when you're remote viewing and other people can meditate and other people can see it in their dreams and get some progress there, it is special. But I am just boots on the ground, really trying to soak it up. And I've worked hard to be outside of the circle of reality of society. And it has cost me a lot of friends. It cost me a lot of family. But the true ones know and recognize who I am. And they all know what my soul represents. But yeah, the Kolomoki Mounds definitely have a sacred feeling and size about them. That is a temple pyramid, and you can climb all the way to the top, and you can oversee the forest. And I've gotten some strange photos in that forest of a goat man-like creature. And not far from there is Cohelee Creek over in Georgia, where a goat man legend has spurred. Sadly, a man was killed by a hate group and then put up in a tree. They never found his body. He turned into half man, half beast and hunted down that hate group. I got no problem with that cryptid. So when I was out there in Georgia at the most southern covered bridge in the nation, I was calling out to the friend of the goat man. But it was truly special. And again, back on the Bermuda Triangle vibe, on the other side in Alabama, there's a story of Huggin' Molly in Abbeville. And right on the town sign, it says, "Beware of Huggin' Molly," or "Home of Huggin' Molly," and it shows her running at you.
Wow.
7-foot tall cryptid creature. Some say she's like a shadow demon. Some say she's a wild woman. But she'll catch you if you're out after dark and squeeze you so hard that your bones break. And you better hope that you go deaf before you go insane from her weird, crazy shrieks right in your ears. And it's really cool that there's a restaurant that has a bunch of lore right in the city or town. And I actually just wrote a script that we're trying to find actors to put a story to it, because not a lot of people know about Huggin' Molly. And it is a special story. And I've talked to a lot of locals there, and they say, "Oh yeah, don't get caught after dark." And I did a fun video there, and I gotta say, it was a little bit more creepy than like a normal Bigfoot hunt because you felt like you had a curfew. Sasquatch will ask you out, but I've been all hours of the night. Hugging Molly, once that sun go down, you better get home. But it's so
Whoa.
cool, being so close to this like delta of weird stuff, and it's just calling to
Yeah.
me like every night.
That's wild. Now, Hugging Molly, do you think that could be a Bigfoot?
I think it's definitely a possibility
Yeah.
that it's a wild woman. Some people said that it's just like a shadow because she'll just disappear after. But then other people say she's ran off into the forest. And in my script, that's what I'm kind of working with, that she's an ancient woman, maybe kind of
Yeah.
like a witch as
I'm
well. But
getting a
she
witch
is
vibe.
very big. She's about 7 foot tall, and
Yeah.
when you look her up online, there's really cool pictures and colors. It's interesting. It's very cool, but it's still under the radar. So Hugging Molly, guys, everybody,
Hugging
Hugging
Molly.
Molly, spread the word.
Hey, I'm gonna look up Hugging Molly. That's the first time I've heard of Hugging Molly. I like that name. That
I
sounds
love it too.
that sounds gangster. All right, here we go. Let's talk about the giants, Connor. So in these mounds, they could be used for all sorts of things, right? But you got to go inside a mound. I mean, how often does that happen? And it's been said that there have been giant skeletons found within a lot of these mounds across the United States. And in pyramids, they say that we have pyramids. They say that there could be up to 2,000 pyramids in North America alone that are hidden or just covered up and they look like mountains. What do you know about that?
Yeah, well, I'm from Ohio. I'm a Buckeye, land of 10,000 mounds. And
Mhm.
for one, I was right by Seville, Ohio. Grew up right around there, and that is the home of the tallest couple. And they were like real modern people that were like 8 feet tall. So direct descendants of the mound builders, of the sun worshippers. But yes, my grandparents lived down in the Ohio Valley, right by Wheeling in Moundsville. Home of the mound builders, home of the giants. And there are Adena mounds that they have excavated, huge 12-foot skeletons. And I have narrated over 10 hours of these mound builder
Wow.
newspaper articles, mostly from Ohio, but all around the world from different decades, different newspapers, different parts of the newspaper, front page, back page, other column right here.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was just news. And of course, some of them might have been spicing it up. I'm a journalist. I understand selling papers, but the facts were there and the correlations. There is no way that all these different newspapers from all around the world, different times, different places, could find, they were buried in a semicircle with rubies and gold, and maybe the kings or the chieftains put to the side in like a sacred tomb. Just the correlations are just unnerving. And it is special because we are direct descendants of them. And even Abraham Lincoln made a remark about how Niagara Falls was flowing even before the race of giants went extinct in America. But again, I don't think they totally went extinct, because there have been giant sightings, Sasquatch sightings, and even trolls that have been spotted, over in Norway, Scandinavia, and even Afghanistan, the Kandahar giant. It makes me start thinking that Middle Earth and all these forbidden islands hold some kind of secrets. But right here in America, we have giants and tons of graves and mounds that correlate with the stars. Right here in Chattahoochee, it's a Chattahoochee Mound Complex. 6 mounds, one major one, and then 5 in a semicircle. And I bet there's something sacred buried inside those. And it's sad when America was, building all these roads and buildings.
Right.
They just wiped out
Subdivisions.
many of these mounds. But if you really want to get super deep with it, they covered up a lot of these buildings when there was a huge mud flood, and now they've built on top of them. In some places, it's uncovering, and it's truly amazing that America and our world is a lot more sacred than we understand. I was just watching War of the Worlds just a little earlier, and just thinking that all those little aliens are underneath New York. I've interviewed people that say there are tunnels underneath New York that are for something bigger than human beings. So it's crazy thinking that Atlantis might have some kind of reality underneath our feet, and then Jack and the Beanstalk up in the air. Wonder why they're spraying the skies and covering up the sun. It's very interesting stuff, and not all fantasy is reality, but you have to sift through it because they put it right in front of our face.
That's right. They got to tell us the truth, right?
Yeah,
Even if it's in a movie. Yeah. Well, around where I live, we have the Etowah Indian Mounds. And also there's a place up in North Georgia that I want to go to that my friends have been telling me about. That's it's an old ancient Mayan pyramid. It's a bunch of ruins up in North Georgia at a place called Track Rock Gap. And I'd like to hike up there. And so, hey, if you're ever in Georgia, Connor, let me know. I'll go with you. We'll go up there sometime. Okay.
Hey, I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah.
Let's do it in the next few months, because Etowah Mounds is on my bucket list, because I was up in the Blue Ridge at the Cherokee National Forest for the Squatch Out last year. And I meant to hit Etowah Mounds, but just got so chaotic on the way back. And that is one thing that I carry on my shoulders. So the Etowah Mounds is like calling out to me. And then if we could hit some Mayan ruins and touch on that, that is special. And that is really special because it correlates to today, where I took my mom for Mother's Day. I took her to Lake Seminole, right where Georgia, Alabama, and Florida all converge. The Flint River, the Chattahoochee River, and the Apalachicola River turn into Lake Seminole. And down there, divers have actually found ruins that they correlated with maybe the Mayans or some lost tribe. So I think the same people that were building on your hillside were building in my lake. So that's really cool. And my mom got to see her first wild gator today. I got tons of awesome footage at the state park. And we heard a huge tree break too. And my mom was by the river and I was on the trail, and I heard like voices below. And I was like, oh, maybe they had something to do with it. Then I go, and that was my mom talking. And she's like, was that you? I'm like, no, but I got it recorded. So I'm super excited. But I also saw a bald eagle feed its kid or feed its little youngin. But I don't know what made that tree break from a high height. It was some kind of ruckus. Like either a large bird flew into it and then caused the whole tree to come down, or it was some kind of cabbage man rod bender type creature right on the state line, right by the ruins. It all makes sense and correlates.
Wow, that's awesome. Hey, I've got a question in the chat. Connor, have you ever checked out the Land Between the Lakes with the dog man up there?
No, I haven't. I don't know if my family has ever driven through there, because it is a weird spot of like Kentucky and Tennessee line. No, I haven't made my way out there, but I'm well aware of the Dogman and werewolf legends, and rest in peace to the people that lost their life at LBL. A lot of cool people are, doing research there. They've held campouts there. And then I know Hellbent Howler. She's just put out like some crazy documentary that is blowing up about LBL, but it is definitely calling my name, and I would love to spend, a couple nights out there. But wow, it all correlates. I was going to say I have my own little LBL down here in Alabama at Flat Rock's house, right by Evergreen, Alabama, the town that loved Bigfoot. There's a documentary that they filmed there, and we kind of had to do the follow-up, of course, because Flat Rock Kenny has had some crazy encounters there that Sasquatch are banging on the side of his house. Sadly, family members have lost a pet, a dog out there. Neighbors have reported stuff. He has a major river that goes right into his backyard that has famous sightings, like documented by BFRO. So I was like a little kid in Universal Studios, looking for the Jaws ride. But it was truly a blessing. And we filmed a documentary there called From Fear to Understanding. And things got really crazy the second night. And Jess, you're actually going to be a part of our movie because you did a remote viewing of what happened. And it's really cool because here. I wanted to talk to you about it a little bit, but I didn't want to give you any details. So I didn't. I kept it as pure as possible. And I'm super excited to hear the report because I was in the other tent and stuff was crazy. And what we have recorded doesn't make sense, but it also does in a way. Things were really weird out there. And I think there's a convergence of electricity and cryptids. And then we also had some visitors from the sky, but I'm super excited to, put out that just because I am definitely an explorer, but I love creating. Like I love being an artist, you know, and that's my art, being on camera, surviving the woods. That's my art in that situation.
Yeah, but you're so good at it, and you get out there and you just do it. Like you don't even think twice. You just go out there. If you're on a whim, it seems like you're out there exploring and bringing the whole world with you. I mean, you do it live on TikTok, right? I mean, you've got millions of views on your videos, and so I think you're doing a service to the cryptid world, to be honest, and really opening people's minds, Connor.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I actually had one video hit 1 million today. That's pretty cool.
Ooh,
But one of my videos with Flat Rock has 5 million. So I've set my bar pretty high. But yeah, today I just went live on TikTok. I had like 1,400 people just, you know, in like 20 minutes, just hiking in the morning, you know, and I'm talking about birds. I'm talking about the plants. I'm interviewing other hikers. Like I said, I'm IRL in this. If I see someone on the trail, I'm asking them. That's my chance to have an exclusive. And so many times have I hit cha-ching. You know, I've interviewed Georgia police officers that have seen the goat man, land surveyors that have seen the Sasquatch. I've had military professionals tell me about their sightings that happened on base over in Washington. Crazy stuff, man. I just love, you know, being there for people for one, but also being that investigative journalist, you know, and that's what I love showing on the TikTok. You get my goofy videos of me and my encounters and my stories, but I also am a little hood rat on the internet at 12 you know, 13 in the morning, looking at crazy videos and sharing them. And, you know, it goes from Grisha, the pet Sasquatch over in Russia, to Mongo, the monkey king over in Africa, to some of the craziest footage that has been recovered in America. And, you know, I'm not here to say if it's authentic or BS. I'm here to share the message, and we're filling up, you know, Cowboy Stadium every night with how many views and the word it was getting out there. So it's really special, and I just can't wait to see where it goes in the future with me and just with the community, because it's in the forefront, and that's how I speak about it, man. It's sports, paranormal, and music and film. Those are the four that are the life of this world. And you know, I was writing a script the other day, and Jack's like, what does this part say? Like, it's supposed to be like, you're making it like they're supposed to understand it. They're supposed to know what you mean. And I'm like, bro, if I said it, I meant it, you know, and they better catch up and wake up. And that's what I represent, because I am well documented, well researched. I'm boots on the ground, but I'm also, you know, nose to the book as well. So meet me there in the morning. So that's what I'm about. I would never ask anybody to do anything I wouldn't do. So I'm out there spending the nights alone. I'm out there calling to the dog man. I'm out there staying in the haunted houses. So it's an amazing journey. And all I'm trying to do is inspire people to get the heck outside and achieve freedom.
Yeah. I mean, you're hitting it from every angle, which is amazing, because not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people are able to do that. And you're just so creative about it. And so I can tell you, when you and Matt were out at the at camping out and you guys had that experience, I'm not giving away any details, but I can say that something really crazy happened to you guys that night. Okay. So it's to be continued, because I'm actually going to be meeting with Matt this week, and we're going to film me going over the results with him. And yeah, we're going to put it in his documentary, I guess, whatever you guys are working on. So I cannot wait till that comes out. He'll be on my show next month. Okay. So, and we'll talk about it then. But anyways, yeah, I mean, Connor, I've seen firsthand what you guys have been through, and it's pretty wild. Okay. So, sounds like something I've been through.
Yes.
Actually. So yeah, well, let's talk about some of the places that you've been recently. Okay. So I was watching a video that you did out on the water, and you were looking for the Pensacola sea serpent. Tell us a little bit about the story behind that, because there were some people that went missing or drowned, and it was blamed on the serpent.
Yeah, about 50 years ago, in March, 5 people were hunting some treasure off of the coast at USS Alabama. They were out there diving, and then just randomly mist came over the water, and a bad storm came in, and they ended up all separated. And one by one, this one guy who ended up swimming over to the buoy, he watched his 4 friends be devoured by this sea serpent type creature, and he said it resembled Nessie. And it's definitely under the radar, but if you dig deep enough, The exact facts are there, and there were newspaper articles, and I've talked to other, boat captains that they've said they've seen strange things in the Gulf. And then I've seen reports from the 1800s that talked about a Mississippi River had like 8 monsters that were about 30 feet long. Whole boat witnessed these serpent-like creatures swimming into the Gulf. So if you have these major rivers like the Pascagoula, the Mississippi, the Apalachicola feeding the Gulf, who knows what's going down on there? And then you add in the caverns that are, right here, and then the aquifer. I bet some strange Godzilla type creatures, or like the Lusca down in the Bahamas, where they show it as like a half shark, half octopus, but I see it as just a giant octopus type creature, and that really opens the door for things, because there's serpents like Nessie, but then the octopus males, they will keep growing in size if they don't reproduce, and you know how they can still squeeze through like a little hole. So imagine them just working their way through these tunnels, but being the size of, who knows, the size of skyscrapers. But it's truly amazing. But then recently I had a more really intimate situation, because the Pensacola, I was out on the Gulf, on a fishing boat. Yeah, the thing could probably take down the fishing boat, but I felt safe. Just a couple days ago, 2 days ago, I was in Lake Powell, right outside Panama City. And again, that leaks right into the Gulf, where in like 58 years ago, or in 1958, a man was water skiing. He was a kid when he was water skiing, and some giant like serpent went after him, and his dad ended up getting in between him with the boat and stuff. It was very interesting. But I took my inflatable kayak out there.
I saw that was very brave of you. I would have never done that, actually, knowing what I know about those waters.
And I was dropping bait off the side, trying to get something, either an alligator or a shark, or
oh my gosh, and the snakes
monster.
But I would be scared of boas and anacondas and stuff.
I was talking to a witness too, and he actually had a recent encounter. And I said, "Hey man, can I film it?" He's like, "No, it's too real." I'm like, "Bro, can I like film, the swamp, and you can just talk?"
Yeah.
And people are so weird, so that's why I want to get out, get loud, get proud. Make it normal for these people to like just say their story on my video. There's no pressure, y'all. It's just me. Like
like you got to, we got to make ourselves look as crazy as possible so they don't feel so crazy, right?
Look at me. I live out of the
we're
car.
The crazy ones.
I don't have a handle on my driver's seat. I creep out of my passenger seat. They should see me and be like, "All right, dude. Like, what can I help you?" Like, but hey, I aim for 25 witnesses. I get that one. Now what just came to my head, I was just at Vortex Springs over in Defuniak, where sadly Ben McDaniel, he's a missing 401 case, he went missing there in 2010. And that case has always puzzled me, because they said that he went missing in the cave, in the water, but a local diver right here in town, Ed Sorensen, he went down. He's the best rescue diver in the world. He went down, could not find Ben, and Ben is a lot bigger than Ed. So anywhere Ed could get, Ben couldn't. But Ben was obsessed with mapping this vortex cave. So I think he was onto something really crazy. And vortex is like a whirlpool underwater, but vortex also is a strange area that physics and science rules don't apply. You go to the Montana vortex, you walk across a cement flat surface, your whole body shrinks. So maybe did Ben get sucked up into a vent, into the aquifer, and maybe just never seen from again, or maybe evaporate into a vortex. But there's also a crazy backstory that the owner got arrested for beating someone up in the woods, and that him and Ben had beef. And then he ended up getting killed himself, the old owner. So I walked in the woods for like 2 hours. I did a ghost box for like 15 minutes, trying to communicate with spirits. It's very, very interesting footage. But I also spoke to like 20 divers, and only 5 knew the story. None of them wanted to talk. The other 15 had no clue. So that was interesting on all ends, because it's a crazy story. But you know, if you would think you would, if you dive in somewhere, you would know the history, but maybe not. You just hit a bunch of different gillies and springs. But, you know, rest in peace, Ben McDaniel. Maybe he's still alive, you know, somewhere out there. But, you know, I can't find anything in the summer with all the vegetation and greenery. So I'll definitely be back there, like probably November, December, where I could just walk the forest. But I also found a trail with a sign that said the abyss, and I walked down it for a while. But I got a little weirded out. I was alone, not really prepared, because I was already like 3 right and lefts by then. You know, I was like, I was trying to get back safely. But
before dark.
The abyss. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
And the storm came rolling in too. So if I was out there, it could have been bad. But rest in peace, Ben McDaniel. And, you know, help everybody, you know, stay safe when out in the woods. But, man, even some situations, you take all the precaution and it just goes left. So just, you know, love your loved ones and live your life truly, because any day it could be your last, you know.
Yes. What kind of precautions do you take when you're out in the woods? I mean, do you carry like a GPS spot kind of device and all that kind of stuff? Or, I mean, do you go out by yourself? Do you let people know where you're going? I mean, what kind of advice do you give to people that are out there exploring the woods?
Yeah, I definitely let people know where I'm going. I try to text my mom or a couple of my friends, you know, that know the area a little bit, where I'm heading. But definitely a few times, you know, I've been off the radar, definitely vulnerable to location. I do not have a GPS personal locator beacon. So if anybody has an extra one, please send me it, please. But no, I honestly
I don't either.
really need to, because $200, what is that compared to a life, or even compared to one night of, you know, uncertainty for my family? That's just, I need to get one ASAP. But, you know, it'd be nice if someone would send me one. Because I would put use to it. But no, I have a life straw. I bring extra water, bring my phone. But part of me is, you know, living life on the edge and having those vulnerabilities and going out there commando with no shirt, no electronics. So, you know, I'm definitely not the best example of safety in every occasion, but most occasions I am very well aware that there are other presences out there, and it's more important than how I feel about myself. You know, it's about my family. And it's important too, because we can't open ourselves up. We don't want to tempt the forest in any ways too. And wow, so many people are out there in national parks with no awareness of people going missing, or that there are strange creatures, cryptids, or that rocks could carry electrical frequencies that could zap you up if you lay on them for too long. But all we can do is just spread awareness, and hopefully, you know, our internal and our instincts will lead us. And all I can do is try to like inspire and be that light, and then you will guide yourself. And I'm big on that.
That's right. And we got to watch out for those portals too, right? Maybe that's where Ben went. Maybe he went into a portal. I don't know. It's always a possibility. It's always a possibility. Well, you know what? I found this picture of another sea serpent, okay, from 1998. This is an alleged another sea serpent. It looks kind of like the Loch Ness Monster a little bit. Down in Panama City, Florida, which is not too far from where you are. Okay. So there's sea serpents, but there's also gigantic snakes. So what do you think would be the possibility of these sea serpents just being humongous anacondas or boa constrictors or pythons? What do you think about that?
I think it's definitely a mixture, you know, because these creatures like gators and pythons and anacondas have been alongside each other for so long. So maybe there's been mutations or some kind of interbreeding, or it's some kind of mixture of both, kind of like how Sasquatch is a mixture of all the animal kingdom, you know, and its abilities. Maybe there are these cobra gators out there. There is a funny movie that was filmed right here on the Chipola River called Cobra Gator, and it's in
Cobra Gator,
and that flows all the way into Panama City. So yeah, I think it all correlates. And your home state, the Ogopogo, Altamahaha is the Georgia serpent, and you know, all your Georgia water flows down here all the time. So I think they're all definitely correlated. But I love that picture of 1998. I'm gonna have to ask my Aunt Gloria about that.
I'll pull it back up.
Yeah, Ray.
I mean, 15 feet. That's a big fella right there. I'm 15
That is
feet.
really
That's a
cool.
long one. Yeah.
Let me touch a little bit more on that Lake Powell monster. That happened in August when the serpent was hunting down the water skier. But in February, the
Ooh.
next February, they found a strange 40-pound carcass that they sent to Smithsonian, and the Smithsonian said that it was a black-tip shark, but a lot of people said that was impossible because they know what a shark is, and that it had like ribs, and that it was a mammal. But it's very, very interesting that all these serpent-type creatures lurk towards the apex. I feel like there is some Godzilla-type things going on below us, and we might see it in our lifetime, y'all. We really might.
Yeah, we might. Well, when I grew up, I had a lot of stories that my friends and I would hear, and we would go check these places out. Like we had a pig man. Okay, if you guys ever heard of a pig man, Connor, we had an actual pig man legend in the county that I grew up in, and there was a point where I was in this mass media class, and my teacher, y'all don't tell anybody, but my teacher would let us leave campus to go film for the show. Okay, we had like a show we did, and when I was a senior in high school, my friends and I would get in our cars and go film. Okay. We'd go film, just ride around town looking for stuff. We went and found Pigman's house. And this is where, no, I saw that, Connor. No, it was, we would go and, we would go film, and I did it a lot of like haunted places. That was my thing. I went to Mahalie Lancaster's grave as well, and we did a show about her. And she was a famous fortune teller back in the day during, the 1940s and 50s. My grandmother knew her, and people from all over the country would go to see her to get their fortunes read. There was even a movie made about her called Murder in Coweta County, actually. I think it was, and Andy Griffith was in it. But anyways, there's all these legends. And the Pigman, we went and we filmed there, and there was a house, and allegedly some family was murdered, and they were buried under the house. And then Pigman lived behind the house, and we would go there at night. And if you'd walk down they were like pig trails, is what they were, wild hog trails that ran behind this old dilapidated house. And if you walk back there late at night, Pigman would chase you out. Okay. And so we ran out of there screaming more than once. Okay. Something chased. I don't know what it was. There was something back there though. So did you grow up doing stuff like that too? Or I know I'm not the only one.
Oh, 100%. You knocked on the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I've had so many strange encounters and cool local legends. I grew up in Brunswick, like right outside of Cleveland, and we had the Valley City Witches Ball that a woman killed like 7 people and then threw them in a well with arsenic because they were harassing her about having a child before being married and stuff. Is really dark. But if you go there at night, it's really hot when it's cold. It's cold when it's hot, and it glows in the moonlight. And there's a bunch of witches that go there to pay to the head of the coven. And then you can hear the cries of her victims. And then in the same night, right around the corner is Crybaby Bridge, where very similar story, of course. A woman couldn't keep her child, or sacrificing her child for the greater good or whatever. Off of the top of the railroad bridge, and that's like 50 feet up, and you have to park at this church that they say is a satanic church. You have to walk through the woods, walk through a graveyard, and then go on top of the railroad. And that's if you want to be on top of the bridge, but of course you can go under it, turn your car off, and there will be fingerprints and stuff. But I had strange experiences on both of those. But the third one is Irma's house, this house that we used to sneak into, and it was really crazy because this woman killed her family, and then she took care of herself up in the attic, and you have to enter through the cellar and then make it all the way up to the attic. And it is groundbreaking, and the neighbors will call the cops on you and sick the dogs on you and shoot little buckshots at you. It's crazy times. And now the house is all boarded up the last few years of pictures I've seen. But yeah, like that was our normal Friday nights, and then I grew up in Brunswick, and that's the Brunswick Blue Devils. And if you researched that, it's like a dogman type creature. It's so black that it turns like lavender and blue. But we also had a local story of like a chupacabra, and a lot of people said that they saw like a blue chupacabra. But I did see a white translucent creature in the woods near my house. And what's crazy is the Whitney Road Monster has like 1 million views on YouTube. Just some random account uploaded. It's pretty close to my house. And that is like a rake type creature. And it shows very similar type creature that I saw. Mine looked a little bigger, but you can see like the alien type head and like 3 claws going around the tree. And it's just a really cool thing. And the Mystery Files on TikTok like shared it the other day. And I was like, yo, I forgot about this. Like, this is the same creature that I saw. But man, it is just revolutionary for sure. And I also grew up on Boston Road. And if you follow Boston Road, it goes all the way to Boston. And that's Cuyahoga Valley National Park, Helltown, home of the Grassman and the Peninsula Python. And, you know, down here in Florida, we got the pythons, you know, normal pythons.
Yeah.
This was a circus python up in Ohio, and of course, it wreaked havoc in the peninsula, in the valleys. So it was like 50 feet long, they say. So every time we were out after dark in Cuyahoga, it was really crazy. And then there's hearses and chemical spills that cause mutants. It's kind of like the real life Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Me and Amber's Paraworld are going to go tackle it one time and really dive into it. And there's bunkers underneath it too. And it's some interesting stuff. And I feel like I'm surrounded by that stuff all the time, though. Weird stories find me, and I feel like people that know strange stuff, they feel comfortable with me just because, you know, once you're so far out there with that, you know, Lucy Leaf and DMT and Hawaiian Baby Wood Rose and Nutmeg, then, you know, you come back to real life and this is all pretty standard, even how weird it gets.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be too much doing any of that stuff and going out and being around the paranormal out in the middle of nowhere. It would be too mind blowing. I don't know about that for me. But however, you know, even when I went to college, there were still, you know, local legends there. I went to college down in South Georgia at Georgia Southern University, and everybody that went to school there, just about, I'm not going to date myself, but it was in the late 90s. Okay. Which I guess that dates myself. But we went to Ghost Road, and this was a place where everybody knew about it. And on a Friday or Saturday night, usually we'd load up in a car or 2 cars, and we would ride out to the middle of it was in the middle of a field, in the middle of nowhere. And you would park at the end of the road, and you could see one. It was a street lamp, a street light. I don't know why it was in the middle of nowhere, a street light, and it would illuminate the road. And there was a Civil War soldier. It was I saw it several times. It was a soldier walking back and forth across the road with a rifle with a bayonet on it. Like he was walking, standing guard right there. And he would just walk one way and then turn around and go the other way. And then it was just back and forth. And if you felt really brave, you just drive right through him. Okay. So it was wild, but I mean, no matter where you go, there's always a local legend or some sort of lore. And now I find that whenever my team hears about ghosts and things like that, I mean, that's how we found one of our main research spots, Connor, was that we had heard stories about a ghost road in this particular area here in the South, which shall remain nameless. We don't give our locations away, but the fellas had heard about the Ghost Road. And so they went to go check it out. And that's where we go do our Bigfoot research. Because usually if there is some sort of local legend there, there's a lot of activity. And it's not just a ghost. There's usually, you know, a witch, or there's a, you know, a lizard man or something, right? Have you found that to be true too?
Yeah, they come in bunches. They always correlate. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to build, the bridge between just all paranormal, because I think it's just hilarious when people are just like so close-minded to just only one room of the whole mansion, you know? It's like, oh my gosh, come on, the party's over in the den.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on the party, right?
Yeah, the extraterrestrials, the mounds that are underneath the earth, the creatures that can harness or harvest the energy, and then us that's caused in the middle. I think it all really correlates. And yeah, down here in the South, you have just all the strange witches, and then the Civil War history adds to it. But I'm big on the old world, the bricks all the way to the dome. Judy Wheeler, I know you're in here. Yeah. But man, this world is so much, like 5% of what it used to be. Atlantis, Eden, Jack and the Beanstalk. There is so much that is covered up that I feel like Yankee Stadium, Staples Center, it's put there for a reason, because our cheers, our energy is a source for something old, something ancient. Yeah. And man, yeah, I think the Sasquatch are tapping in on it. And then, of course, the lights in the sky. And I am big on, there are many continents and many worlds. And they give us so many little hints with, Jungle Cruise, the Inner Earth, Iron Sky, the Coming Race. And then even just Jurassic Park. Like, the whole concept is a island that, these dinosaurs still exist on, and dragons still exist, Leviathan. It's truly special. And I feel like there's high treaties in order, but those are fizzling away with time, and it's going to be at the forefront soon. And it's like the Bible coming to life, but also all the ancient texts and the hieroglyphics from your remote viewing, from the dreams of the other goddesses and ancient people that really, set their minds aside just to get just a glimpse of insight. And that's what I'm all about, is just, I write down my dreams in the morning, hoping that the gibberish makes sense 5 years later when I talk about it in one random night. Everything is just a learning experience. And I love just absorbing it. And, failure is just another lesson. And I bounce back, it's just another scar, and, chicks dig scars. So I'm cool with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And wild men, right? Somebody just said that you're a wild man in chat, Connor. Hey, I'll take that as a compliment, right?
Yeah. Well, I definitely do.
Well, it makes you wonder, because if there are at least 2,000 pyramids all over the North America and Central America and South America, those are places of power, apparently, right? And so what's up with that? I mean, there's so many, but they're hidden. I mean, do you think that's why they're hidden? And that's why people are covering them up? I mean, they're all over the entire planet, right?
Yeah, and they all correlate too. It's amazing. On certain maps, you can just draw the circles, and that's how you can discover new ones as well. I know in the Amazon, they just found like a multi-mile thing filled with crazy artwork of extinct animals. So we're still uncovering great discoveries every single day. But yeah, man, I think it's strong points of energy, and that's all we are, is energy. And I'm big on, we could become particle form, solid, we're particle, but we can also be waveform in our true moments. So these elves, these elementals, these deities in the sky, these planets, heaven itself, I think that is a wave. That is that energy. That is a spirit. And most of the time we can just maybe tap into that when we die. But all these things that are tapping into the grid around us, I feel like they have less manipulation, less distraction. So they're able to tap into the waveform. And maybe some humans can too. And that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm just trying to bridge that gap between like what is out there. But I'm not throwing out no portals, no mind speak. Like, none of that is too weird ever, because waveform, guys, like it's everywhere. And I'm huge on that. And it really powers me. I don't need no speed. I don't need no coffee. I don't need no proper English either. I'm fully energetic about this, and one step another. And I'm just trying to be that spear, so a couple people that ain't as loud and ain't as bright as me can just fall in behind, and then boom, 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 we gonna break that door down. Hopefully we break it down, and just you've seen in the video games, just coins and knowledge go everywhere. And I'm just wanting to raise the standard, higher the standard of knowledge, of energy, of community. Y'all have all seen me in the chat rooms, supporting and sharing. I want to challenge everybody to be like me. But I also, try to take the best from all my favorite people in this world, all my people that have fallen. But that's that's a big thing about my books too. It's a big reflection of like all the people that, you know, touched my life a little bit. I could write it down and forget about it. You know, it lives on forever through the book, but I'm about creating new memories. You know, just this week I've, you know, written a bazillion books in my mind and a script and tried to change the world. And that's how I try to approach every single day. And I don't expect nobody to remember half the stuff I say, any of the stuff I say. Don't want you to remember my name. I want you to remember how I made you feel, you know, and there's a little bit of hope still in this world. It's not all predictable crap. Man, it's really cool. And there are people like Jess out there. There are people out there that are vulnerable and put their insecurities aside and make the sacrifice just so people could, you know, have a better day, or simply just, you know, get away from the static just for a little bit at a time. At the very least, at least when I'm ranting and raving, I'm away from the static. So this is therapeutic for me. I hope it.
Me too.
I hope it for y'all too.
I know. Well, that's why I do my YouTube videos. You know, I have a YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress, and I go on there, and I haven't had time this week, you guys. I have been so swamped. This is so much fun. And I love being busy, by the way. I love having stuff to do, but whenever I do have a free moment, which is rare, I do go on there and I make a video, and it's like spiritual guidance, just talking to get my energy out, because I've got all this creative energy that needs to flow, and I have to keep it moving, because I don't want to lose it. Okay, let's just put it that way. I don't want to lose it. But speaking of creative flow, Connor, and I'm Team Connor, by the way, and I agree with you on all of this stuff. And I'm glad that we have become friends through social media and on this couple of interviews we've done, Connor, because you're the best, and I can't wait to hang out with you one day. And let's talk about your books, okay? Because we've got about 5 minutes left. Okay, so let's pull up a couple of your books and tell us a little bit about each of them.
Yeah, Big Brother Bigfoot. That one talks about all the strange creatures that I've, you know, researched from up in Canada, Ohio, down to Florida, Arizona, Texas, of course, Honey Island Swamp Monster, and then Big Bear Lake. I don't think Big Bear Lake was named after big bears, but yeah, there's other Mothman cryptid creatures, a couple lizard men, a lot of fun stuff in that. And that's a journey about me, but it's also a reflection of like the earth itself, because I truly, you know, uncovered like the bridge to, you know, maybe the ancient times. And I'm very proud of that. And the cover is super dope.
Oh, it's amazing. Okay. And now you also have Monsters and Mysteries around the corner.
Yes,
okay. So tell me about this. This looks good too. I mean, aliens and UFOs and Bigfoot.
Yeah, that one's really fun. If you look really close, you can see me up in the window too.
No
but yeah,
way.
that one's all about how we don't have to climb any mountains or really go far for strange stuff, because it will find you. And I've had strange stuff happen in this trailer, in the house that I grew up in on Boston Road. And then also a lot of strange family tree stuff. And that's a big thing too. I'm open with my family, and that's why stories come pouring in. I, you know, challenge everybody to be truthful, you know, tell your parents how you feel, and tell your loved ones what you believe in. It might actually open up some things. And if you guys have differing opinions, come on, you know, no reason to burn anything down. But that one's truly special. I get to honor my aunt. That's all Banshee in Limerick, Ireland, about 80 years ago. And of course, she was shunned and banished. And it's my truth, you know, it's my duty to raise her name and our story.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. Now, has this book come out yet? Your Panhandle Pirates?
The self-published version came out, but the Beyond the Fray, that version is coming out soon. And it was really cool, because like literally the day of the reveal, I was on Lake Powell, like kayaking. I wish I had my Jack Sparrow Black Pearl pirate ship right there. But yeah, I had my Amazon, you know, $45 inflatable. But yeah, man, I
bet that was fun.
Really, yeah. It was awesome.
I bet that was fun. Yeah. Well, you're getting a lot of experience, and I just love it. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about? We have about 2 minutes left, and you know, I want everybody to know where to find you, and just leave us with a little tidbit of some advice for everybody, or just something you'd like to tell people tonight.
Yes. I'll make it really quick too. There was a fourth book too, Erie Swamps Road Trip to Eden. It talks about my journey from Lake Erie down to Florida swamps, and then the final chapter is Garden of Eden. 27 to 28 trees in the Bible, gopher wood. That's what Noah used to build the ark. One of the only places it grows in the whole wide world is right here, and it's right by where the Ocheesee Pond wild man was captured in 1873, and where Stacy Brown got the footage at Torreya State Park. I also want to tell people my movie Zillafoot is on Amazon Prime, full free. Watch it. The Void Cat comes out next month. I just wrote a movie about a leprechaun called Southern Shamrock. We're putting that into production soon. Super excited. Follow me on TikTok, Bigfoot Anonymous. I have like 77,000 followers, 100K.
No way.
I could smell 100K right now, but I'm just super excited. Please subscribe to me on YouTube, Bigfoot Anon. I have a really cool community. Jess, hope I get to see you at the Alabama Bigfoot conference.
Are you going to be there?
Alita, if you're listening, yo, put me as a speaker spot. Talk to the people in the Great Florida Bigfoot conference. Come on, who had that place earthquaking? It ain't no reserves. Put Jordan in the game. Come on. But
that's awesome.
I'm also speaking June 4th at the Southwest Skunk Ape Conference. Super excited about that. We're going to burn that place down with knowledge. And it's going to be fun because Stacey Brown, Dave Shealy, Mark Muncy, a bunch of real Florida people are going to be there. So I'm going to get to bring my other stuff there. You know, I'm going to get to talk about the strange journey living out in my car going to Florida. But I'm just super excited. Matt's documentary, the From Fear to Understanding, the trailer comes out next week. Super excited for that. I'm really proud of him. I have a lot of great films coming out. I also have that Yeti bar commercial. Here's the Yeti bar. Clean like a beast.
I love it. I bet it smells good, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
It smells better than a Bigfoot, right?
it makes my bathroom smell incredible. Please use my code BA10. The trailer was really funny. Hopefully we'll see it at the Super Bowl or something.
Yeah. Wait, what is that code again? Tell everybody.
BA10.
All right. Y'all go get you some Yeti bars in, right?
Yes. But everybody just stay positive. And if you run into skeptics, either keep it moving or kill them with kindness and maybe send them my way. But there's piles of credible encounters from police officers, firemen, college professors, military generals. Sasquatch is real. They have found tons of evidence. They have found bodies. People have killed them. So please don't use rhetoric that is like weak coming out of your mouth. But stay strong and be that inspiration. And all of us that are in the community that have each other, be that inspiration for our lives outside of this. You know, let people know that there is stuff going on, that there is mysteries, that miracles are real. Just always put in those little tidbits, just that magic is real, and miracles are too. And we are all water, guys, and thoughts shape that. Yeah. So just be positive and let your body thrive. And not everything's going to be all good and fine and dandy. Just ride that roller coaster and try to find balance and be truthful to who you are. Be truthful to yourself. Don't lie to yourself first and foremost.
Connor, we got to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to bring you back on soon, and I'm going to say goodnight, and I will talk to you soon. Okay. Thank you, Connor. Awesome. Okay, everybody. Connor's amazing. So you guys don't forget that right after this show, you can join the live crew on After Hours as they take you on an incredible journey tonight for the next 3 hours. And next Saturday on Off the Trails, my guest is the legendary Bigfoot researcher, Ron Moorhead, and we're going to get into quantum Bigfoot and the extraterrestrial connection and, you know, ETs and Bigfoot, y'all. And I can't wait to see y'all there. But for now, I'm the cryptid huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm headed off the trail. After Hours is next. So good night, y'all.